So we are here with the Haverford College women's soccer captains for the 2020 season. We're going to talk a little bit about the season, even though it'll be a little more unconventional than it has in years past. But we want to start off with first letting the group kind of introduce ourselves, so we could just kind of go around and give your name, your position, and what you're studying here at Haverford.
Yeah, my name's Saede. I'm a winger, midfielder, and my major is anthropology with a concentration in Middle East and Islamic studies.
I'm Emily. I'm a senior, and I'm an economics major and a health studies minor, and I'm a center back.
Hi, I'm Marina. I'm a holding center mid, economics major, and I'm also a senior.
I'm Hannah. I'm a junior, economics major, health studies minor, and I am a goalkeeper.
Okay. And then, so we'll jump right into this. You guys have now been practicing for a little over a week, just started your second week of practices this week. But obviously you've been remote since March. So just kind of talk about the excitement coming back to campus, what it's been like to see all your teammates again, and how you think the first couple weeks of practices have gone for the team.
Yeah, so it's really great to be back. So most of the senior class, we went abroad the past spring. So it's really been a long time since we've been back on campus. So it's been really nice to be back and see everyone and meet the first years. We've been talking to the first years a lot over Zoom. So it's really nice to finally see them in person and get on the field with them. And then the practices so far have been going really well. It's really great to be back on the field. Even though it's not what we were expecting, it's still nice to be in the smaller groups to really focus in on the skills we want to develop and really get to know each other more. But yeah, it's just been really great to get back and play in any form. We'll take whatever we can get at this point, so yeah.
And then the way the practices are structured, each team has its functional units. But the way women's soccer broke it up is you're kind of in a functional unit with your position. So I was kind of curious, even though it's not the traditional practice with the whole team, what are maybe some of the benefits you have from being with a functional unit? Is it helpful to have the more increased maybe one-on-one time or focus specifically on one position group in a given practice?
Yeah, from the defensive side, it's been really nice because a lot of what we work on is backline shape and other kind of position-specific things like that. And it's nice that we can ask questions in a smaller group and kind of work out all of that stuff before we get into a game setting. So I've really liked the smaller groups.
Yeah, and speaking from like the midfield forwards position, it's been really helpful to get a lot of extra reps and have like a specific focus for the practice. Also getting feedback from people in the same position. Just kind of speeds up that process and fine-tuning a skill. So one thing we've been really excited about in our groups is getting in a lot of extra reps of shooting and like crossing in front of goal. That yeah, we've been able to really take advantage of.
Good. And then obviously one of the major disadvantages is that you can't practice as a whole team. So maybe what are some of the things the team's doing, like obviously taking into account the restrictions in place on the college, but what are some of the things the team is doing to maybe become more cohesive since you're not all practicing as one collective group right now?
It's definitely more difficult with all the COVID guidelines just because we can only meet in smaller groups. But it's actually been a positive for our team because when we go get dinner or go get brunch together, it's in a smaller group, so you really get to know the people you're with. And we also have been kind of switching up the groups. So some days we'll get dinner with like our core value group, and then another time we'll get dinner with different people who we don't live with and who we don't normally see. So we try and mix up those groups as much as possible. And then we also have a buddy system type of thing where we switch everyone's buddy every couple of weeks. So you try and go get coffee with your buddy or try and meet up for dinner or something like that. So we've been trying to mix it up, especially in small groups, and get to know everyone.
And then as part of the fall season, obviously the competitions are suspended, but how is the group staying motivated, and do you have any goals set forth for the fall semester of like things you want to work on as a team?
Yeah, so in normal circumstances, we really take to heart this idea of to November and beyond that can mean a championship, but that can also mean sort of like prolonging the season um, as long as we can. We had a really cool taste of that last season, getting an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament. But I guess with this challenge right now, also you can also kind of interpret it as an opportunity to focus and really work on little components of the game that you don't really get to give a lot of attention to under normal circumstances. So I think each of the individual pods can really benefit well from that. But also, we're trying really hard to frame this soccer season as a process and keep everyone on a really in really process-oriented mindsets, because with that uncertainty of like when we're going to be able to showcase our team and really compete again is, yeah, like I said, uncertain. So we're really trying to promote that motivation through a process-oriented mindset. Unlike a lot of schools, we have this really unique privilege to be able to be out and playing, and for which we're grateful for. And we really want to take advantage of that to grow as players and control the controllables, but also just have fun with it. Yeah, and I think it would be unfair to bring up motivation and not give a shout out to the seniors who have had a lot taken away from them and who have been dealing with it very gracefully. Yeah, it really emulates a lot of what our program is about, and it's super inspiring to see them continue to grind.
Very cool. Very cool. And then off the soccer field, obviously social justice has been at the forefront of a lot of national discussions this summer and continuing into the fall. Your team has undertaken an initiative that I thought was very interesting. It's titled the Activate Athletes for Social Justice. I was just curious if you could kind of talk about that, why you felt compelled to do what is it, first of all, I guess you should explain that, but then why did you feel compelled to bring something like this to Haverford's campus?
Yeah, so first of all, just to give a quick summary, it's basically a month-long initiative where 4 teams spearhead 1 week where they really dive deep as a team into a specific issue that they've decided on. And at the end of each week, they'll facilitate a discussion for open to any of the athletes on these teams. And so the idea is to kind of bring together and collaborate and build community within the athletic community, and then also to share that out when possible to kind of the greater community and engage as many people in that process as possible. And this idea came out of a lot of discussions that we were having in our team's own diversity and inclusion committee throughout the summer, having team conversations about systemic racism, anti-racism, relating back to our own team with questions about privilege and positionality, both as individuals and as student athletes on Haverford's campus. So we kind of had questions of how we can change behaviors and discourses to reflect these important issues. And we knew that a lot of other teams were having very similar summers and engaging in a lot of different ways. So what we hoped to achieve with this was to create an opportunity for teams to connect and to expand those conversations and for teams to come together and share and connect what we're learning and experiencing. One objective for the program is to really be intentional about collaborating within teams and among the teams, and learning from the causes and themes that people chose from week to week. So in those conversations at the end of weeks, to really emphasize and discover the intersectionality of the issues. And we hope that these conversations carry on outside of the 4 weeks, outside of the participants of the program, to really engage and tap into the communities that we have access to. So if all goes well, we hope to maybe carry this on in the future and make it a recurring program. But for now, those are kind of our goals.
Good. And then maybe just one follow-up. This will start next week, I believe. So we won't reveal your whole plan right now. We'll let people be a little bit surprised, save a little bit for next week. But what is the cause or theme that women's soccer is going to undertake for the week?
Yeah, our theme kind of broadly is voter suppression, which is very timely. So we hope to, one thing we hope to do is make sure that everyone on our team is registered and ready to vote. But we'll kind of break up the week with different sub issues to tackle that.
Very interesting. So we will look forward to that next week. And then finally, the last question I have for each of you will cover the whole kind of student athlete experience. Your team was recently recognized as having the United States Team Academic Award again. Obviously, it's occurred every single year that this group has been on campus, and well before that, Haverford Athletics has been successful both on the field and in the classroom. But specifically this year, you mentioned the NCAA tournament. Your team had the highest cumulative GPA of all the teams that went to the NCAA tournament, kind of embodying athletic success and academic success. What do you think that says about your team and the type of players that your program brings in?
I think it definitely speaks to how much Haverford allows us to balance academics and athletics. And I think it's really cool to see our team recognized on a national level, especially kind of with our really successful soccer season last year as well. And it definitely means a lot to the team. I think people work really hard here at Haverford and really take pride in what they do in the classroom. And so it's awesome to see that recognized.
Very nice, very nice. So that is all the questions I have. I just want to thank each of you for your time today and wish you the best of luck, both athletically and academically, as the fall semester progresses.
Thank you.
Thank you.